Dear traders, welcome to this week's MK Web blog summary. So after we had like a 5-6 week period of easy to medium difficulty in terms of the complexity of the trade setups and markets we had, I would say this was a week where first of all there were less trade opportunities than the 5-6 weeks before. And therefore, everything was maybe slightly more complex than in the easy money phase before. So let's go through this. On top of that, we also had like quite some sideways action by several markets. So where markets went flat and there wasn't much movement. But anyways, there was still a handful of trade setups, even though less than usual. But let's go through all the markets like we always do. So here we see euro dollar. So a bit of a complex situation because we have an option strike target long, as you can see. However, as you know, remember the golden rule, never trade against a squeeze. And this here is a squeeze on the 1 hour chart. Yeah. So we don't even have a downward sloping squeeze line. So we can't just trade an OST like that. And as you can see on the other screenshots from the 18th here, so the market, once the long is left, the market went towards the OST. Yeah. However, as you can very easily see from the higher time frames, overall we still have the longies in the market, as you can see from the 4-hour time frame. Yeah. Above the price, there are all the dumb money long positions. Below the price, there are the long-term stops, and overall we have more longies and shorties. So even though there can be the pullback and all of that, you have to understand if there is a pullback into those longies, the market is highly sensitive towards any new additional longies next week. That means if new green bars come in, they can do a trend resumption and break the lows, okay? Because that can lead to an upward sloping green squeeze line. You understand? So keep that in mind. It's important to see the big picture. And even if you may trade like a little pullback or OST long against all this bias, be aware that if for whatever reason the trade is not coming, you need to get yourself stopped out early, okay? Or better, do the correct short trade once you see that the bigger time frame will dominate everything, because the market was just, as we can predict right now, super sensitive to any longies, okay? So here you see the value of this analysis, even in terms of weeks, which I've performed here for free on YouTube for a while now. So from this screenshot alone, the 4-hour chart, you see that there are longies. The market is highly sensitive to any more green bars next week, okay? The same goes for pound dollar. You see on the day chart, look, there are longies in the market. There's a bit of a squeeze going on already, so the price can go lower, lower, lower. Even if more longies come in, they can go for those LTs and the lows, okay? So my prediction from before, that the dollar pairs are bearish, was again correct. And that was not difficult because we already had last week the beginning of all of this, yeah? Remember, all the longies coming in. Nevertheless, there was some nice trades, like in euro pound. It took the nice MTS here against the dumb money shorties, boom, boom, boom. This was a double tap, okay, on both the M30 and the hour chart. And also, like it overshot the stop and went to the STS, okay? So that was nice. Australian dollar, of course, similar like a euro dollar, yeah? Also here we have the longies dominating. We also have like a squeeze dynamic against those longies. And even here we had an OST long, but even though the price then came up, okay, and remember, as I said before, like they took the lower MTS here, the overall bias needs to be taken into consideration. And that's exactly what happened. So once so many longies came in, they just retested the low, cleared the low completely. You see, it did a typical textbook stop hunt below the low with a pin bar. Yeah, the typical stop hunt formation you see in the markets. And now you see why that is. The only reason for this stop hunt bar is dumb money longies. Okay, that's what so many people out there don't understand. They are ignorant. They don't understand that the dumb money long positions lead the smart money algos to to conduct a stop hunt against them in this fashion. Kiwi dollar, to make a long story short, similar thing, yeah. But as you can see, we have a big MTS and Kiwi dollar above the price. So next week there can be a pullback. Okay, they can take those targets and then do a trend resumption after. Yeah. In fact, you see like a little bit of a collapse here in Kiwi dollars. So keep that in mind. That's why the market situation overall is a little more complex. You need to know exactly what you're doing. Okay, and there are different groups of traders who approach it differently. Some people want to trade the pullback up and then the trend resumption after. Other people say, you know what, I will just add place a limit to short at really good prices, and if I get filled, I'm in there for the trend resumption. If not, then not. These are personal choices, okay, for traders. Drinking my coffee. Prost. Cheers. Okay, so dollar cut, the whole thing reversed as often. So here we had so many shorties coming in, money sellers, the market reaching for the highs, yeah, and as you can see, we have a squeeze going on. So that means even if more shorties come in, they will go and take those highs. I know that here on the 19th we had the OSTs on the lower time frames. So, and now then on the Friday we had a bit of a down money switch going on with the squeeze energy collapsing a little bit, okay, after the high has been kissed. So that means we can have the reverse scenario like Eurodollar. So a pullback taking the OST, but then a trend resumption up, similar to the Eurodollar doing a pullback to the OST and doing a trend resumption down. Okay, for next week. That would be one of those scenarios. And the same, of course, for dollar yen, because it's also reversely correlated. Take note of how they took the 1 to 3 OSTs with this precise pin. Yeah, I love it when there's this precision. This technology is incredible. You don't find this precision anywhere, that you see in advance where it can go, and yeah, the price exactly touching the TP and then reversing. But dollar yen overall looks a bit bullish. Look, we have shorties everywhere. Okay, we have LTS above the price, the long-term stops, and below the price are the shorty positions. So this can even lead to a little gap up, yeah, on Sunday night. So the smart money would like to take those stops of the dumb money sellers. As simple as that. So keep that in mind. Okay, don't try to place a big short in dollar yen in such a situation. Yeah? So pound yen, remember, it took all the targets last week. It played Pac-Man, took the option strike targets, MTS, and on the 17th took the lower MTS, then took the upper MTS, two of them, took the order gap zone, so it again continued to play Pac-Man. But you see, like, quite consolidating price action. So when the markets are in a very tight range, the tradability decreases. In order to do some range trades, we need the range to be a bit bigger or higher in terms of pips, you see. So I'm sure some of you have at least caught, for example, this MTS trade. Yeah. Euro yen similar to dollar yen. Okay, also has shorties and also looks a bit bullish. Took both MTS with the consolidation on the lower time frame. Okay, and overall looks also rather bullish. Euro Aussie. So here we had an OST. We wait for the shorties to leave. So that's an interesting setup for next week. Pound Aussie took the upper MTS. This was probably the best trade of the week. So we had the open option strike targets. We wait until the shorties leave and the other targets are taken, and then it did a nice move. Took the upper MTS, and as you can see from here, then reversed towards the next OST. Okay, option strike targets. That was a nice short trade. One of the best trades of the week was this short trade towards those targets once the shorties left. Okay. Metal. So metal still complex. They were just consolidating, going pretty flat there. Here you see gold. So you see this consolidation I even drew in. It has some longies, so it looks like it wants to revert, but also stops above STS and LTS. So I think they're gonna clear the stops maybe on the upper side, and then after, if more longies come in, do a down move, something like that. So as you can see, that's also a bit more of a complex situation as we had in the 5-6 weeks before. Similar with silver, they also have longies, but also targets on both sides. Okay, so you see, when we have the combination of flat price action with targets on both sides and kind of contradicting developments in terms of the mechanics, like here, long is coming in but also stops above, then the complexity increases a bit. But as you know, most weeks are easy. Like those weeks, the complex ones, they are rather rare. I mean, I would estimate, I have to look at all the MK block summary videos I did to date, but I would estimate that the more complex market phases are maybe around 7-8% of the overall price action we see otherwise. So that's not a lot. You see what I mean? So I'm pretty confident that less than 10% of weeks in the year are like this. So low bias, low tradability, low setups, and more complex market structures. Okay? But as you can see, it enables you to rather easily predict what's coming. So what you have to do as a trader, you, rather than trying to push things, you let things go, you trade smaller, you take less trades, and you wait for the next week to be really on point. You understand? Where we get either some kind of pullback trade or a trend resumption. You see what I mean? And there's a lot of pips to be made. But you have to be adaptive. I should maybe explain that, because it's vital and many people don't get it. You have to understand, trading markets is not like running a kebab shop. It's not that every day you will have between 100 and 300 people buying your kebabs. You understand? It's not how this works. Like, so you have to be really adaptive. Some weeks are slower than others, and some weeks are super easy where you can really get a lot of pips. You have to really see what's going on, like I did here, and then adjust your trading approach accordingly. As you can imagine, with all the experience I have these days, for me it's not difficult to figure out when there is a week which is either rather slow or complex, and it's not easy money, and when there is an easy money week. In fact, I've documented that here on YouTube for you for free, so you can do the same. Yeah. But nevertheless, very interesting, and it's also interesting to show you a week like this, because there you can see, okay, the market structures where you keep it small and you're not trying to push things in terms of your trading approach and risk management. Okay, the area where as a human trader you can beat other players is by being adaptive and using your brain in order to figure these things out. All the best.